What's happening, guys? Nerd Person Shooter here. So a few days ago, or maybe it was closer to a week ago, I bought Ninja Gaiden Ragebound on the Xbox Store for 20 bucks. It's usually 25. It was only 20 bucks, so they marked it down a little bit on sale. Even though I'm not a big Ninja Gaiden fan, I played through Ninja Gaiden Sigma on like the easiest setting, the stupid joke hero mode where like whenever you run out of health you become invulnerable and shit. Just to like get through the story, and it was a miserable time. I probably could have played through it on Ninja Dog difficulty, but I was impatient because I was playing it on Game Pass and I was running out of time, so I went through that. Way a long time ago, I tried playing Ninja Gaiden 2 on the 360. I got pretty far. I'm pretty sure I got like at least two-thirds of the way into that. Didn't care for it. On top of these games being really hard for me, I just can't really get into them. But I decided to take a chance with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And even though this is probably the most I've ever enjoyed in a Ninja Gaiden game, it's not by much. Now, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is not one of the 3D modern ones. It's more like the old NES ones, like the really really hard ones. The ones that separate the boys from the men, okay? Now thankfully it's not quite that hard, but it's still really hard. I was able to beat it last night. That's only because this game has accessibility toolbars. You can reduce the damage you take. And you can even reduce it all the way down to zero. But I didn't want to do that. I reduced it to like fucking 25%, and I still died a couple times. I suck at these fucking games, man. Not only do I suck at Ninja Gaiden, but I also am not good at like old school 2D side scrollers in general. I'm not talking about like the Metroidvanias. Those I find easier because if you get stuck at a boss, you can always come back when you've explored more and found more upgrades and stuff. But you don't really have that privilege in these games. You gotta push forward. It's linear. You can find like, scarabs that you can use to buy things from like the shop in between chapters, which does help, but I still had a very, very hard time with it. So I decided that I'm going to drop it down to 25% just for the sake of beating this game and telling you guys what I think of it. Now, the story is you're not playing as Ryu, you're playing as his protege, Kenji. And your goal is kind of simple and straightforward. It's stop the evil fiends from taking over the world. And then about halfway through, the CIA shows up, and at first their goals are kind of aligned with you until they become corrupt and try to use the fiend's power for themselves. So you gotta kind of stop the CIA too. And a little bit into the game, you encounter this girl. I can't even think of her name right now. I didn't like this girl. And basically, her life essence fuses into Kenji. And you can start doing like her moves with Kenji. And one of the things that I really do not like about this game are the platforming segments, which involve you basically, I don't even know what it is. You enter this weird cocoon thing, and the girl comes out of Kenji, and you play as the girl, and she has a very limited amount of time to like do platforming segments to unlock like the next door for Kenji to pass or whatever. Those moments are by far the worst parts in Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and unfortunately, they're present in basically every level. I hated them. I also have a problem with like some of the controls. It feels a little too slippery. And I also have a problem sometimes when I'm trying to drop down from like a ledge to hang from like the top of like a ledge. Like say like this is the ledge, you're walking here. You want to like drop down, but you want to hang from that ledge to like get like a collectible, one of the floating skulls or, floating scarabs for upgrades. There will be a lot of times when Kenji would just like drop, but then plummet to his death, when that's not what I wanted him to do. So I think the controls need more fine tuning. Maybe I'm just not doing it right, but I don't know. It was kind of annoying. Unlike the other Ninja Gaiden games, I like this game enough that I might want to replay it at some point later on in life, but I still didn't really care for it all that much. I will say that I love the art style. This is a game by the same studio who made the Blasphemous games, the Game Kitchen. And I really love their art style. I love the graphics. I love how it looks kind of like a 16-bit era game. I love the music. It's great. The sound effects are all great. I love the inclusion of gore. Like you can like cut people in half and stuff. And if you're squeamish, you can turn that off, but I kept it on just because this is fucking Ninja Gaiden. Like it's supposed to be really gory and graphic and bloody. So I kept that on at least. And I suppose the story was okay. It was serviceable, but it could have been better. Some of the bosses were a bit too like damage spongy, like they had too much health. Like even if I played it with like 0% damage, like I was literally invincible, it's kind of funny how long it would take for you to just stand there and hack away. Like it would still take like fucking 2 minutes to like do that with most of these bosses. Like they have a little too much health in my opinion. I played it on very, very easy mode, as easy as it can be without being like totally invincible. And it took me around 5 to 6 hours to beat. I did miss a few things here and there. There are unlockable secret levels. You need to find like the hidden technique scroll in each level to unlock a secret level. I did unlock a couple of them, but I did not play them. So I don't know what those are. Maybe those are pretty cool. So the game has a decent amount of replayability. Thank God, because it's $25 and for that price, you can get Silk Song for less, and that game's like 80 hours long from what I hear. And it's harder too, probably harder than Ninja Gaiden Ragebound on the default setting. And for 30, for an extra 5, you can get Hades 2, which has like almost endless replayability. So in terms of like bang for your buck, there are better indie games out there than Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. But if you're a big fan of Ninja Gaiden, or at least like the 2D side scrollers, I think $25 is a fair deal for it, you know, if you'd spend like 7 to 10 hours total on it. So I do think that it is a good game overall. It's just not really quite for me. I just find the gameplay to be a little on the, I don't want to say generic, but on the conventional side. Like the combat could be better, I think. In Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, you can't even like attack up in the direction like you can't tap. You know how like in like the old Castlevania games, you could like you could attack up, or Castlevania 4, you can attack diagonally and stuff. In Ragebound, you can't even attack up. This is a 2025 2D kind of retro inspired game, and it doesn't let you attack up as a ninja. And that's kind of lame in my opinion. So the combat could be better. You can tell me it's a skill issue. That's fine. I have already told you guys I suck at it. I have nothing to hide in regards to my skill level. I mean, I've always made fun of myself for sucking at video games. My original game channel was called The Gamer Gods Fail for a reason. So my final score for Ragebound is probably going to be like a 7 out of 10. It's a decent game. It's a pretty good game. It's just not quite for me there. It almost is. It almost is. But I think the gameplay could have been a bit more well thought out. The story could have been a bit more well thought out. I probably would have given it an 8 if not for the whole platforming segments with the girl, because I really hate those. So, yeah, guys, coming up next, I'm not sure if it's going to be a full-length review or not. It might not be. But I do want to talk about Hades 2. That's another game that I recently finished, as in like finished the main story. I still have like a lot of other things to do in it, but I do at least want to give a thoughts video out for that at some point, maybe this coming week. So yeah, stay tuned if you're interested in that, and as always, thank you for watching.